I've been in the mood for salmonella, but since he uploads so infrequent now, I went back into the catalog and it's still amazing that there are videos I have not seen. And this is one of them. It's called Origins of Phrases. Now, the etymology of words is fascinating. Just think about all the phrases that we use, and when you break them down, they don't make a lot of sense, but we understand them purely based on context. All right, his original video is linked down below. Make sure you're supporting him and like this video if you like this, and let's get started. Hey kids. Hey kids.
Hey kids, you know what's cool? Etymology. Etymology. There we go. Today we're going to talk about some words,
Origin of words,
some combinations thereof, and where they come from. First is the phrase white elephant. Now, for those out of the loop, a white elephant is a possession which its owner cannot dispose of and whose cost, particularly that of maintenance, is out of proportion to its usefulness. And also a game played during the holidays for people who prefer random garbage over actual personalized presents.
That's where I know it from. You buy, you set like a limit of how much you pay. And yeah, it's usually not like good gifts, you know, and you set it low for that reason. But if you guys know the Office, they did that and it was really funny. So
according to legend, this saying dates back to the monarchs of Siam. Whenever one of the king's courtiers drew his displeasure through whatever means, he would offer them a gift of a white elephant. It was considered the ultimate insult to refuse a gift from the king, so naturally the elephantee would be forced to accept. Now, if you know elephants as well as I do, you would know that they are freaking gigantic. They can consume around 50 gallons of water and 500 pounds of foliage every day, which would be quite expensive to keep up in modern times, let alone hundreds of years ago. Plus, these ones are albino, so you have to hose them down with SPF 30 once an hour or else they'll turn into one big tumor. Okay, not really, but they definitely needed their shade. Also, Southeast...
I need to look at some albino elephants. Albino versions of everything are so fascinating. I saw at a zoo near me an albino alligator, and that was so cool. And obviously it had to be in a zoo because it wouldn't be able to survive on its own. We're an albino of anything. The reason albinos too aren't more popular is because they're horrible in nature. They can't really hide very well. They become easy targets. But they are fascinating. And yeah, get an elephant for a gift because that's a big commitment. I mean, it's cool. I mean, you could probably sell it off really quick to somebody. And in Southeast Asia, elephants are amazing. And in South Asia and Southeast Asia, they could basically domesticate them. They're not bred for it, but they can be used as kind of work animals. And they're pretty amazing. Elephants are really cool. But yeah, not everyone is fitted to take care of one though.
Asian cultures can tumor. Okay, not really, but they definitely needed their shade. Also, Southeast Asian cultures considered white elephants sacred, so you weren't allowed to make the animal work, and you'd have to hire a load of people to care for it on a daily basis.
Okay, so you couldn't use it as a work animal, because it'd be perfect. The problem with them is breeding them for the purpose of work is not very feasible. They have long pregnancies. They only give birth to one. The amount of food you have to get it is incredible, but it can do incredible work. They're so strong. They can be used in warfare. Okay, if you know about the great elephant armies of South Asia, say the Mughal Empire had them. In India, elephant armies also withstood the advance of Alexander the Great's army when it came into India. They're pretty cool in war history, actually, because basically they're like tanks.
Basically, the person getting the gift would have to choose between financial ruin or letting it die and being socially ostracized and possibly even killed. I thought this whole thing was pretty clever, so I started doing my own version. Whenever someone gets on my nerves, I spray paint progressive comments all over their house.
BLM. It's okay to be... The N-word is bad. Oh gosh.
That way they'll have to spend the whole day angrily scrubbing it off, and then the neighbors will be like,
wait, does that mean he likes the N-word? Bigoted scum.
Next is balls to the wall. This one harkens back to the days when planes flew in the air. The throttle of many aircrafts would be controlled with either a lever or a plunger, either of which were often topped with a sphere for easy handling. Thus, when you wanted to throw the plane into max thrust, you'd put the balls to the wall. In a similar vein, the phrase balls deep comes from pinball machines. When you want to launch the ball full force, you pull the plunger all the way back, otherwise known as going balls deep. Nah, just kidding. That one actually means what you think it does. Next is getting your goat. A phrase
I was going to say maybe it had a more wholesome origin there, but I guess not there. So, okay, so we got balls to the wall. So these, both of these have made sense now. And now you can impress. You actually won't impress your friends, by the way, if you bring this stuff up to them, especially if someone says one of these things, you're at a white elephant party, you're actually going to look like a pompous jerk, but it's knowledge, okay?
Used when someone or something annoys you.
Getting
The origin
your
of this phrase is still disputed by etymologists,
I've never
but
said
one
that.
theory traces back to the sport of horse racing. In order to stop horses from getting nervous before a race, their owners would stick a goat in the stables to keep them calm. Apparently, the presence of a goat has some kind of therapeutic effect on horses, kind of like a therapy dog, except they can't pet it on account of hooves, so they just sniff it for a while, I guess. Cut to a pack of young hooligans looking for something to do besides bootlegging and getting polio. They decide to break into the stables at night and escort the goat to an undisclosed location. Then when the race starts, instead of running straight ahead like a normal person, the horse would run into the crowd and drop kick a grandma or whatever, and the old crotchety oil tycoon who owns the horse would stand up, shaking his cane, yelling, "Those punks really get my goat." Thanks to modern medicine, anxious horses today can instead be given horsey Xanax to calm them down, which unfortunately means that the days of hot-blooded goat getting are over. However, some would argue that stealing horse tranquilizers can be equally rewarding in its own way. But enough of that mumbo jumbo. Hey, speaking of which, you ever wonder where mumbo jumbo comes from?
Yeah.
Nice segue, Sam. Thanks, Sam. Anyway, strap in.
By the way, I have not heard of that one. Have you ever heard of Get Your Goat? I've never heard that one. Mumbo jumbo.
And kids, this one's gonna be good. Mumbo jumbo originates from the Mandingo people of West Africa. The Mandingos were a polygamous culture, and whenever a domestic quarrel broke out, they would soon hear animalistic screaming coming from the woods. They look over, and out runs this guy, known as Mumbo Jumbo. Now, Mumbo Jumbo's arrival was considered a big deal to the Mandingo. The whole tribe would sing and dance in the town center until midnight, at which point Mr. Jumbo would settle the dispute. And by settle the dispute, I mean tie the female to a post and slap her upside the head with a stick for an hour, while the rest of the village watched, all hootin' and a-hollerin'. And then he'd run screaming back into the woods, where he would remain until the next complaint arose. What the Mandingo women didn't know is that Mumbo Jumbo is not, in fact, a wild patriarchal deity from the forest, but merely the offending woman's husband or one of his friends wearing a costume made from tree bark and leaves.
Yeah, you get somebody on the inside. It's an inside job made to look like some character mythology. It's brilliant, though. A brilliant way to settle your marital disputes.
Anyway, the guy would be babbling nonsense the whole time, which is where the phrase mumbo jumbo is derived from. So next time one of your superiors uses the words mumbo jumbo in a jocular fashion, remember to report them to HR for promoting African wife beating. Anyway, that's all for today. Till next time, I'm Salmonella, and thank you for watching.
Final thoughts. All right. It's always fun with Salmonella. I love those little things. And I never come away from a Salmonella video without learning a bunch of new stuff there. That was great practical things. But again, don't look like you're some know-it-all jerk by dropping this, into conversations to make yourself feel cool. You know what I mean? People don't like that. They want to get shown up, but I guess if you can find a way to sneak it in, that's it's up to you. Okay. All right. Awesome. Let's get Sam making some more stuff. Let's make sure, keep watching his videos, keep getting the liking his videos, get the views up and all that. I just made, by the way, a playlist of all of my Salmonella reactions over these past few years. So if you're in a Salmonella mood and want to have me join you, check that out. I'll link it down below. All right. With that, we'll see y'all next time. Bye.